drew down the TGA, that's basically the Treasury savings account, from $700 billion to practically nothing last week. That also ended up in non-issuance of government debt, so that was a big boost to liquidity. All that is set to change now. Actually, the TGA is going to go the other way.
Billionaire Stan Druckenmiller speaking at Bloomberg Invest earlier today. This, of course, as the Treasury Department says it plans to boost its cash pile substantially by the end of this month. Kaylee Lyons, of course, is here with more on this. Kaylee, what should we be expecting?
Well, we should be expecting a lot of issuance, Anne-Marie. I mean, billions, hundreds of billions of dollars worth. Remember, the Treasury's cash pile fell below $23 billion at one point last week before the debt ceiling was raised. That matched the lowest level since 2015. And now that the debt ceiling has been lifted, it is time for them to borrow big time to restore that coffer. The Treasury is saying in a statement today that it plans to increase issuance of Treasury bills so it can keep financing the government and gradually rebuild the cash balance to a level more consistent with what they usually do, and they expect that it will get to approximately $425 billion at the end of June. I would remind you that as of June 6th, it was at $71 billion, so we have hundreds of billions of dollars to go. And what that means is we are going to see a lot of issuance, potentially issuance that we haven't really seen outside of crisis era times, like what we saw during the pandemic in 2020 or back in 2008. We've already seen them boost the size of auctions in recent days, like the shortest tenor benchmark bills from yesterday. They are planning to issue a lot more in short tenor securities and cash management bills as part of this issuance drive, but it's really going to drain liquidity out of the system. Strategists at JP Morgan expect the liquidity drain to be about $1 trillion. They think that will knock about 5% off the combined performance of stocks and bonds this year. Citi did the math, thinks a liquidity drawdown of this magnitude could mean the S&P drops 5.4% over 2 months. And because bank deposits are going to have to soak up all that supply and yields are going to go higher, it could drive money out of bank accounts and into higher yielding products like money market funds. And of course, this is just the near-term consequence. We have to consider the long-term issue with debt supply as well. And that was something that Ray Dalio, the billionaire founder of Bridgewater Associates, was speaking about at Bloomberg Invest earlier today.
We are at the beginning of a very classic late big cycle debt crisis, when the supply-demand gap, when you're producing too much debt and you have also a shortage of buyers. If we continue down this path in terms of what's likely over the next 5 and 10 years, then you reach the point that balancing act becomes very difficult.
So, Joe, this is really a story of maybe solving something in the near term, but not necessarily solving a long-term problem.
Reminding us again here, as the dust settles on this whole debt ceiling agreement, the country really didn't get a lot for it other than a lot of drama.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily change the longer-term fiscal trajectory.
That's for sure. Bloomberg's Kaylee Lyons. Many thanks, Kaylee, for joining us. Coming up, a showdown on the floor of the House of Representatives. It's still happening. We'll be joined by Democratic Congresswoman from Washington, Susan Del Bene, next. This is Balance of Power on Bloomberg TV.
This is Balance of Power on Bloomberg TV. Conservative Republicans striking back over the debt limit agreement by halting business on the House floor once again. Joining us for more is Representative Susan Del Bene from Washington and Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee Chair. Congresswoman, thank you so much for your time. I mean, you're there on the floor today. Just give us a sense when you think we could see regular order again on the House of Representatives.
Well, it's a great question, and I don't know, because I don't think Republicans know. We came in for votes yesterday. They were unable to pass a procedural bill that the majority passes. The first time this had happened since 2002, and the chaos continues. There is no sense of direction. We just found out that votes are officially canceled for the day. Unclear what's supposed to happen tomorrow. So the Republican caucus is in chaos.
Well, so tell us what can happen here next, Congresswoman. You don't only chair the DCCC, but you're the former chair of the new Democratic coalition. What can the center do, as we saw in the outcome of this debt ceiling debate,